In this lesson we will learn how to remove the staples on the face, so I'm going to use clone stamp tool for this. And to remove the staples, I'm going to use lighten. And now for easier work we should zooming in. For zooming in we should deactivate this menu. How can deactivate? Just click on a free space on the options bar and point to that part where you want to remove the staples. And how can zoom in? Just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel, and now you see it. And also opacity should be decreased about 50%. So how can remove the staples? Just click on that part where you want to remove the staple and press and hold Alt key. Your circle, you see your circle is converted to target, and click the left button. Now release the Alt key and just one by one you can remove the staples on the face. Also here we should Alt and click, because this part and this part not the same. Also this part, you see how it's changed. How we remove the staples. Again, I'm clicking the Alt key and click left button and release Alt key and remove these staples. The face. Also here, you should again by one click. In some place you can paint, in some place you should click the one by one. So also this part. Also this part. Also this part. Again and again, you should know it. I'm removing with the Alt key, click left button. Then you should release. You must release Alt key. So, also we can remove the black points on the nose. Also remove the eyebrow. Can clear the nose from the black points. Also remove the staples on the hair. To remove the staples on the hair, hardness should be 100, because it can be hard, it can be strong edge, and opacity should be also 100, and mode should be normal. Just watch where is the plus, and here also here. So using this method you can shave, you can remove the staples. If you will not be able for first time, you should practice again and again with the clone stamp tool, and you can continue with my next video. Next video will be more interesting. See you in the next video lesson. In this lesson we'll learn change hair color. For this we should select the hair in quick mask mode. For this I'm going to use edit in quick mask mode. From select menu we should select use edit in quick mask mode, and after we should use brush tool and just select hair. For easier work, let's zoom in. How can zoom in? Just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel and just painting. Can select the hair. If you want to change the size of the brush, the diameter, just press and hold Alt key and point to the right, it's become bigger, point to the left, it's become smaller. Also, when you work with this brush tool, don't forget, make it more normal and 100% it should be. And just select what you need. Also here. So also here. Here. If you make mistake, you can erase that selection. Don't worry about it. Again, brush. Again, this part. So this. Forget this. Okay, let's make it bigger. So this. And let's erase, make it smaller. I think you understand the principle, how to select. So we should now exit from quick mask mode, go to the select and just unclick edit in quick mask mode. And now we should inverse the selection. How can do it? Go to the select and use inverse. So if you need add, you can use lasso and second. Here we should add. Add here, subtract. And so on, so on. So now we should, so here, let's add it. Okay, a little subtract. Now we should create new layer from using this button, which create new fill adjustments layer, and using the solid color. Okay, we should use mode. We should change mode to the soft light, and just double clicking on this thumbnail, we can change the hair how we want. So using this method you can change the hair color. Okay. How you want. And for example, let's make it like this, like this. Okay, it was like this, we make like this. So also we can change the not only that, we can change also the lips, but lips locate in the background, and we should select the lips. But here we should subtract. To subtract, just press and hold Alt key and select that part where you want to subtract. And now we should add a little feather about the 3 pixels. Also we should add a solid color. Okay, and also should be soft light, and just using this method you can change the color of the lips how you want. Okay, also the eye also locates in the background, and we should select the eye. Okay, here we should add a little feather about 1 pixel, and again using solid color. Okay, we can soft light, so double click, and using this method we can change the color of the eye how you want. Okay, also we can a little subtract opacity. You see how it's changed. So our image was like that, and we make it like that. So enjoy it.
In this lesson we will learn how to create a stage effect. So for this I'm going to use this image with the young man and this texture to create the stage effect. Let's return to our image with the young man. So first we should create a copy of the background. How can create a copy of the background? Just press and hold left key and point to the second button. And now we should desaturate it. How can desaturate? Go to the image menu, adjustments, and desaturate. Instead you can use Shift Ctrl U. Okay, and now we should select the background using the magic wand tool, and tolerance should be decreased much because the shoulders is merged with the background. It can select the shoulders, and we should decrease, for example, we can set the 2 for tolerance, and just click on a background. Select also this part. Also we should select inner of the eye, go to the using the lasso tool, and just zooming in, press and hold Alt key. How can zoom in? For easier work we should zoom in, just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel on the eye, pointing on the eye. Now it's zooming in, and the second button should be activated. Now we can select inner of the eye, also here. Okay, also this eye, and add a little feather, for example 2 pixels. Okay, hit on screen, and now we should delete this selection. How can delete? Just click on the delete key on the keyboard. What we delete you can watch by disabling the background. Now let's leave in this position, disabled background, and now this selection we should save. How can save? Go to the select and click on a save selection, will appear window save selection, and in the field we should set the name, for example Ari. You can use any name. Okay, now we should deselect this selection, go to the select and deselect, and let's return to our image with the texture. Now we should copy it, go to the select all. Instead you can use Ctrl A, edit copy, Ctrl C instead. Let's return to our image, edit past. Okay, and now we should make it bigger. Go to the edit, and using free transformer, Ctrl T instead you can make it bigger. So and let's use the opacity. For example, I go like this. You can any parts to place. So accept. Now I'm going to accept or enter key, and on this layer we should load that selection which we saved. Go to the select and use the load selection from channel. We should use array. Okay, and make it 100. Delete. Now we should delete this layer, the outside, by pressing the delete key from the keyboard. Okay, now we should inverse this selection. Go to the select and inverse for working with the inside of the selection. Inverse. Now it's select inside. So now we should change the mode from pop-up menu, multiply. Okay, and add a little levels, not so much. Okay, and now we should select the hair and work with the hair. Go to select and deselect. Also we can zoom in. How can zoom in? Just using the magnetic lasso tool. I'm going to use select the hair, but before we should zooming in. How can zooming in? Press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel. Okay, and move it down with the space bar and left button. You can pan. Okay, how we can work with the magnetic lasso tool? You can just make one click and go around the edge of the hair. here also clicking. We should click at that part and around and around. And close this selection, but here also should be select it if it's not go around, or if you make wrong points, you can back it. How can back with the backspace key from the keyboard, and here we should click, okay, and close. Okay, now we can add a feather, right click feather, for example, about 6 pixels. Okay, and image adjustments levels should be decreased. Sorry, the hair is located on a background copy, not on a layer one, so we should close, not click OK, just close, and background, select the background copy layer. Again, use the image adjustments levels. We should increase this, so you see how it's changed. Not so much, I think enough. Okay, and deselect. Let's fit on screen by double clicking on the hand tool. And now we should work with the lips. Lips also is located on a background copy, but before we should zoom in. How can zoom in? Just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel, and using, for example, lasso tool this time. Lasso tool is working with the pressing and holding left key. And here we should add a little feather with a right click. Okay, wow, 6, and levels again, decrease, not so much. Okay, select, deselect, fit on screen. Also, we should hide it, this diameter, and feather again, and using image adjustments levels. Using this slider we can add a light, so select, deselect again. Also we should work with the eye, so we should copy from layer 1 this part and put on an eye. We're using the lasso tool on the layer 1. We can select this part and copy it. How can copy? Go to the layer, new layer via copy, or instead Ctrl J will appear the new layer, and this layer I'm going to convert to normal, and using to move you can use Ctrl T, move it, make it bigger, accept it, and put it under all of the layers. And also we can add decrease the brightness. Now, not levels but brightness you can use. Okay, also with this layer, also again layer 1, again for example this part, go to the image, go to the layer, new layer via copy, instead Ctrl J, and with also you can use move tool to move it. Okay, and put it under the others, and again reduce the brightness contrast. Okay, hit on screen. So also you can on a layer 1 you can add desaturation using the sponge tool, desaturate, and just not so much. You can use this method also. So using this method you can create the stage effect, and let's enable background. Oh, we forgot. You see that here's the eye appear because of layer 3, we didn't make it normal. Let's make it normal, and again background, enable background, it's not appeared eye. And using this method you can create stage effects. So you can continue with my next video. Next video will be more interesting, so see you in the next video.
In this lesson we'll learn how to add a rainbow. So to add a rainbow, I'm going to use gradient tool, and at the options we should use submenu special effects. Okay, and this type of gradient from the type this color, and from the types we should select second one, radial, and also reverse should be unchecked. And how can give the effect of the rainbow. But before adding a rainbow, we should create new layer. Go to the layer, new layer, and let's give a name, for example rainbow. Okay, and add to rainbow, just press and hold shift key and press and hold left key to make it straight, and about at least from down to up, for example to this moment. Now we're adding it, and now we should change the mode of this layer. Go to the use the soft light, for example. You see that it's changed, and also I want the reflection on a water to create. For this we should copy. How can copy? Just press Ctrl J from keyboard. Will appear the copy, and now click Ctrl T and flip it. Right click, flip vertical. You see that it's flipped, and just we should place it. So I think it's enough, and just click on a assign enter or commit button. Let's click enter, and now we should decrease the opacity on a water about, and clear from this part. This part should be cleared. It's not reflection, and for this I'm going to use eraser tool and just clear this part. So using this method we can add a rainbow. Next lesson will be more interesting. See you. In this lesson we will learn how to add droplets on any object. For example, how to add droplets to water tap. To add the droplets we should create new layer first. Okay, and select the where you will need in rectangle, for example to this part, and fill with gray color. Okay, and also you should make foreground black and background should be white. Go to the filter. Also here you should use fibers and strength. It's a variance about 19, strength about 18. Okay, and also we should add the levels, slider about 77 and about 0.79 and 239. Okay, well, it will be like this. And from filter gallery we should add, from texture we should add stained glass about 16, and also 20, light intensity for 16, 24, and now we should make it, add a blur, Gaussian blur about 2.5, and then we should add again from filter gallery we should add sketch and plaster. Here's the image balance should be 16 and smoothness should be 14. Okay, and now we should remove the black background with the magic wand tool, but before we should deselect this selection. Go to the select, deselect, and click on a black color. Click the delete key from the keyboard, and now you can deselect, and you can warp it with Ctrl T, right click, and you can use warp to assign on our water tap. I think it's enough, and click enter or assign key, and erase that outside with the eraser tool. Hardness you can make 100 and erase from that parts we don't need. So here, and opacity you can decrease. So using this method you can add droplets on any object. It can be glass, it can be bottle. See you in the next lesson.
Hello, in this lesson I want to show how to add object on the sky. It can be image, it can be symbol. For example, I want to show how to add the symbol of the dollar on the sky. And for this we should activate the text tool. How can activate the text tool? Just press T from the keyboard and will appear your cursor will convert to symbol I, and just click on any part of the image with the left key. Now we should write, for example, any symbol. For example, I want to write the symbol of the dollar. Press Shift 4, and now we should accept it. Press Ctrl Enter to accept, and now we should make it bigger. Press Ctrl T, and to any handle, your arrow should be double arrow. So now we should make it bigger. How can make it bigger? Just press and hold Alt Shift and hold left button and go to the diagonal. You see how we change the size of the dollar. For example, size like this. And now we should accept it. Press Enter from keyboard. And now we should change the color of the symbol. To change with color the sky, press on a black color and just click on any, for example, on the sky, not on the clothes. Okay. And you see that when we click, your cursor, your pointer, it's like a pipette, and it selects this color from the sky. Just click OK. And now you see that on Layers palette will appear the text. Also, we should change the mode of this text. For example, lighten, or you see that the edge, or for example, soft light. Let's make it soft light, and let's decrease opacity about 70%. Make it 70%. Just click to that field and press 70. Okay, and now we can add some effects to this text. How can do it? At the bottom we have button which named Add a Layer Style. It allows to add a layer style. Just click on it and will appear pop-up menu, and from this pop-up menu you can, for example, I want to add afterglow. Just click on it. Will appear layer style window, and put this window a little right to see your symbol, and you can, using this method, you see that we add a afterglow. It's the spread of the glow, and it's the size, it's the color. I want to leave a white color, and also we can add, if you want, you can add, for example, bevel and emboss to make it, to show the edge of the text. And here is the style of the emboss. It can be after bevel, it can be inner bevel, emboss, pillow emboss. That's all. And also you can, for example, you can use gradient overlay. But you should know, if normal, it's the sky, the color is normal, and Let's change it, also make it soft light. You see that it's, or you can use other gradients. Okay, other gradients to your text, and just click OK. You see how add a symbol, or it can be the part of the image, or it can be image. So using this method you can add any object on the sky. See you. This lesson we will learn how to add a lightning, for example on the select array, for example this array, and first we should create new layer, new layer. You can set any name, okay, and we should select with the rectangular tool the area where you want to add a lightning, for example this array, and then we should on this area we should use the gradient. It should be black, white, gradient, and linear. These three options should be checked, and just using the this line, for example like this, you can add a lightning, you can add a gradient, and now we should use the difference clauses to add the effect of the lightning. And now we should invert it, go to the image adjustments, invert, and add a little levels. We should change the mid-tone. Also we can change the hue saturation, polarize should be checked to change the color of the lightning. Okay, so using this method you can create the effect of the lightning. See you in the next lesson. In this lesson we will learn how to add a graffiti, for example on this part of the lorry, and I'm going to add a graffiti on this part of the lorry using the vanishing point, and here's the graffiti which I want to assign to that part of the lorry. So we should copy it. How can copy? Go to the select and use all. Instead you can use Ctrl A, and now we should copy it. How can copy? Ctrl C, and here's the Ctrl V, and now we should create new layer using this button. We can create new layer. Here's the new layer, and this layer we can hide it. And new layer should be activated, and graffiti should be hidden. We should hide it, and on this layer we using the vanishing point, And let's unclear this with the backspace. How can clear? How can add it using the create plane tool? And just with 4 points we can add a perspective lattice in which we will place the graffiti, and again we should pass it with the Ctrl V, that graffiti, and just point inside. You can, for example, to this part or to this part. Also we can transform with the transform tool, and you see it's easier than other methods, and I want to flip it here. Okay, and just now I want to accept it with OK, and change the mode of this layer with the overlay, and also you can erase the edge if you want, if with the eraser tool, make it 100 and just erase the edge. So using this method you can add on any part with the vanishing point in perspective mode, you can add it. So next lesson will be more interesting. See you in the next lesson. In this lesson we will learn how to apply the flag of United Kingdom on the face of this man. Here's our flag, and we will try to draw it on the face of this man, like on fan's face. To do it, we will use this filter, displace. But before using this displace filter, we should save it in new document with PSD format. And how can do it? Press Ctrl A to select all of the image, press Ctrl C to copy it, and press Ctrl N to create new document. After pressing Ctrl N, will appear that the same size of the image. We just click on a create. The background, it can be transparent, it can be white, no difference. And now we should create new document. You see that the same size of that image, and now we should paste it with Ctrl V, and now we should desaturate it with Ctrl Shift U. We should desaturate and add a shadow to separate the edge of the image from background. For this we should use Ctrl L. Will appear the window which add shadow levels, and using this slider, just for example like this, put it, and now we should click OK. About 103. Now we clicking OK, and again we should save it. Press Ctrl S to save it, for example on a desktop with the name map or any name in the format PSD, and just save it. OK, and close it. And we are closing, and now we should copy the flag. Let's return to our image with the flag. Press Ctrl A, press Ctrl C, press Ctrl V to put it, and now we should scale it on a face. Press Ctrl T, and using this handle we can, in the center, let's try to put it, and let's decrease the opacity to show. So this part, it should be in the center. In the center, for example, I want to put like this, and now we should accept. Press Enter key. Okay, and the moment to use that filter which I showed you, Distort, Displace. So using this filter, we will draw on a face this flag. Filter, Distort, Displace. And here is the scale, horizontal scale and vertical scale. It's enough to make it 10, and displacement map should be not stretched, it should be tiled, and undefined areas should be wrapped around. Okay, and from desktop we should use that image which we save in PSD format. Just click on it, and now you see how it's applied on a face. How it's applied, it's draw it on a face. And now we should again make it 100, the opacity. You see how it's applied on the face of this man. And now we should make it multiply, or you can use other, for example soft light. You see how it's applied on a face. I'm going to make it multiply. And now the problem, we don't need on a outside of the face this image, the flag. For this we should use selection tool and select on the face. How can do it? We should select background and use the quick selection tool and select the face. To change the size of the tool, you can press and hold Alt key and press and hold right click of the mouse button, and if we point to the right it's become bigger, if we point to the left it's become smaller. You see how it's changed. And now release, for example, about this size, release the right click and release the Alt key, and pressing and holding left key we can select the face. Here we should subtract. How can subtract? Press and hold Alt key and subtract where we don't need selection. Also on a hair we don't need. Also here. If we make mistake, don't worry, we can undo it with Ctrl Z. For example, like this. So, and let's return to our image with the flag and use the mask tool. Mask, it will only show on a select area, and outside of the selection we'll remove it with the mask tool. Just click on it, and now we should erase on an edge. We should erase. How can erase? What we should use for this? We should use brush tool. Press B. It's appear. Will activate the brush tool, and the black color. It's removed, and white color restoring. So let's again, to change the size, press and hold Alt key and press and hold right click to make it bigger or smaller. And for easier work we should zoom in. How can zoom in? Press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel, and the black color is a foreground black color, it's removed with the brush tool. On the edge, hardness about 70. Also here we should remove. Also here. 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 If we make mistake, don't worry, we can restore it with the white color. White color should be foreground. For this, press X from keyboard, X key, and restore it. Also here, we should now foreground black color should be. Press X and remove it. And from the eye also, we shouldn't forget the eye. Also here. Or we can restore this part, press X and restore. Here should we erase, press X again to make foreground black color, remove. Also here. . So using this method we can remove we can apply the mask on a face or other flag. So also here. Okay, using this method we can do it, and next lessons will be more interesting. See you. In this lesson we'll learn how to restore damaged photo. For this I'm going to use third tool, Touch tool. It's quick and effective method to restore damaged photo. Just click on it, and how it works, you should select this damaged part, and also here we should use content aware on the options. And how it works, you should select the damaged part. Let's zooming in. How can zoom in? Just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel for watch it. And how can change? Just point inside and replace with not damaged part. And here's our structure. If we change the part, also change the method of the restoring. For example, if we make 1, it's like this, changed. If we make 6, it's like this. Let's leave in a 6. And color, it suggests the color. You see how it's changed. Let's make it 0. I think it's good. Or 1. Let's 0. So using this slider you can show how it's changed and which prepare you can leave at that level, for example 0. Then click on a free space. Again select and change. Select the damaged part and change with not damaged, and you can continue like this. Okay. Also here. How can zoom? Again, press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel. If we scroll up, it's zooming in. If we scroll down, it's zooming out. And using this method you can restore our damaged photo. Here just select and point inside and replace with not damaged part. Okay, also here restore it, also here. Here, here, also here, okay, also here, and here, this part, this part. So using this method you can restore your damaged photo. It's very easy. You see how you can do it. And again also this part, just change, replace with not damaged part. Also here on the nose, this part of the nose, this part, this part, this part, also here. this part, this part, let's make it smaller and try it to restore. Okay, and also on t-shirt we should, I forgot this part, also on t-shirt just select and replace. Let's clear it. With not damaged parts. Let's here add a little color, this part, about 5. You see how it's changed? If we made 0, if we made 7, it's become smooth, not so smooth, about 5%. Also this part, so this part, also this part. And now we should draw it with the clone tool. Let's make it with the clone tool. To change the size of the clone tool, press and hold Alt key and press and hold right click. If you point to the left, it becomes smaller. If you point to the right, it becomes bigger. And let's clone to this part, for example, this part. Just press to clone, just press and hold Alt key. Your circle convert to target and click the left button. Now release the Alt key and just by one by one you can draw it, or you can press and hold Alt key, press and hold left button, sorry, and draw these parts. Okay, and these options should be unchecked. Don't forget it to every time clone that part. You see that plus is not change the place because of this. We unchecked. Okay, also this part, again the patch tool, with the patch tool change. Also this part, again clone. And let's remove the background. Also we forget it again with patch tool. With patch tool, I'm going to use patch tool and remove these parts. And now we should remove the background. How can do it? Just select the background. You can select with the quick selection tool. To change the size of the quick selections tool, again press and hold Alt key and press and hold right click. If you point to the right, it's become smaller. If you point to the left, it's become bigger. And just select it. Also this part. And again change the size. Ear, we forgot ear. And how can subtract? Press and hold Alt key and click it to subtract. Just forgot the ear. And also this part subtract. If you make mistake, don't worry about it. Press Ctrl Z or press Alt Ctrl Z, and again zooming in. Here we should just add, not subtract. From the ear we subtracted. And now we should add a little feather. Just right click, feather about 2 pixels. Okay, and fill with the white color. We should fill with the white color. Go to the edit, fill, or instead you can use Shift 5. Press Shift 5, and here just use white color. Forgot this part. Let's restore it. Again, patch tool, content aware, and zooming in. Select it and restore it. Also, we can make it smooth, the face. How can with the blur tool? Blur tool, here is the strength of the smooth, about 50%. And change the size, hardness should be 0. How can change the size? Again, press and hold Alt key and scroll up and right click. Press and hold right. If you point to the right, it's become bigger. If you point to the left, it becomes smaller. And we'll try to make it smooth. The face. Okay. Not on eye, not on eyebrow, only on a skin. We should work. Also here. If you make mistake, you can, with the history brush tool, you can restore. Again, blur tool. Also here. This part. Let's fix it. So, using this method, also you can make blur. We can make smooth the skin. So, next video will be about how make it color. See you. This lesson we will learn how to make black-white watercolor photo. For this I'm going to use brush tool, and from the options we should use color, and the opacity should be decreased about 30%. And also we should try the select color of the human, or if you know the code, you can enter the code, and I want to show how can do it. Just click on a foreground color and enter here the code of the color. It's a D39870. It's the, for example, near the color of the face colored photo, and clicking OK. Now we can just paint the face, but before we should zoom in. How can zoom in? Just press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel and change the size of the brush tool. You can use Alt key and right click. If you point to the right, it's become bigger. If you point to the left, it's become smaller. And just paint on a face. If you paint eye, you can restore with the brush tool, with the history brush tool. Again, change the size. You can use Alt key and right click and just remove. Again, brush tool on the ears, not on the lips. Again, if you make mistake, we can restore with the history brush and continue with the brush tool. Okay, so ears, not on the lips. Ears. On the ears you can increase the opacity. And again make it 70% on the face. Not so hard. Don't worry about the moment now. The finish will be more effective. Again, we can restore here with the history brush tool. Okay. Also, again brush tool. Get these parts. This part also. And also on the cheek we can add a little light red color, and just this slider, put this slider to top, and this circle you can like this color, make to try to select light red color, and opacity should be increased about 90% and make it bigger. Also you can change the roundness of the brush tool, and on the cheek we can add a little right color. Oh, it's a little hard. Let's undo. How can undo? Just go to the step edit and step backward. Again edit and step backward. We shouldn't make it bigger, it should be decreased. I think it's enough. And
To remove these hard edges, we can use blur tool, and the strength is about 50%. Again, we can change the size with Alt key and right click. And again, not on the eye, only on the skin, or not on the eyebrow. So also let's change the color of the lips. Again, color. Now we can make it 100 roundness, 100%, and change the size and on the lips. So also let's change the color of the eye. Let's make it, for example, green, or you can choose any color of the eye. Times. And let's change the t-shirt color. Okay. To change the size of the tool, again Alt key and point to the right left, and right click and point to the right left to change the size of the tool. So these parts I'm going to continue with the lasso tool, because to continue with this tool it's not effective, and I'm going to use lasso tool and zoom in. To add to selection, you can use Shift key on the keyboard, also here Shift key. Here we can subtract it, spacebar and left button. To subtract, you can use Alt key and close it. Also here we should subtract it. Here we should add using the Shift key. Okay, and make it a little feather. Right click, feather about 3 pixels, and change the color of the t-shirt. Go to the image adjustments, hue saturation, and slider, for example this, and lightness you can a little decrease. Okay, select, deselect. So this, the image was like this, and we make like this. Okay, using this method you can make the color black white photo, any black white photo, make a color photo. So see you
In this lesson we will learn how to create realistic clothes. Some designers skip this term because of Photoshop has a ready filter which create clothes, but the problem with that filter, it's not so realistic, and in this lesson we will try to create realistic clothes. For this we should create new document, and from art and illustration we should enter width 500 pixels, height also 500 pixels, resolution 300, RGB color white, and create. And now we should add the color of the sky to this document. Here is it's also ready, or you can select your color, but I have the code of the color. I know the code of the color. We can enter here. It's 3E6CAA. Okay, and also background you can change using this slider and this circle, but I have the code also for the background, and we should enter it 76B6F4, for example. Okay, and now we should add these two colors like in a gradient to our document. For this we should use this button, but this button is not activated. To activate it we should background convert to the simple layer. How can do it? Just right click and use the command layer from background. You can set any name. I am going to use the name layer 0. Okay, and now it's activated. Just click on it and use gradient overlay. Now it's selected. If in your Photoshop it's not selected, you just click and use it, and reverse should be selected. Now I'm clicking OK, and now we should create new document. Go to the layer, new layer, to create clothes, and use clothes. Set the name clothes 1. Okay, and in this layer we should add a filter clothes and difference clothes. Go to the filter menu, use render clothes, and then go to again filter, render difference clothes, and difference clothes. That filter we should add 2 times. For this, go to the filter and use the again difference clothes, and again difference clothes. And now we should separate the color, the sky from the clothes. We should separate it. How can separate? Go to the image adjustments using the levels method. Using this 3 slider, we should separate the sky from the background from the sky, clothes from the sky. We should separate it. So for example, I use it for the darker color 20, for midtones 0.63, and for light area 45. And now I'm clicking OK, and now we should duplicate this layer. Go to the layer and use duplicate layer, set the name clothes 2 and click OK. And now we should add a filter which extrude our
clothes, go to the filter, stylize, and use extrude command here. And if in your situation selected pyramids, you should select blocks. Size should be 2, depth should be 30, and it should be selected level based, and you should tick solid front faces. Okay, and now we should add a Gaussian blur to make it soft. Go to the filter, blur, and use Gaussian blur. 1.6 it's enough, or you can enter 1.6. Okay, and now we should change the mode of these layers. Go to the normal, this menu, from pop down menu you should use screen, and also for clothes one also should be screen. Okay, and now we should create new layer. Go to the layer, new, to add a shadow layer, and set the name shadow. Okay, and using this brush tool, right click, size should be about 58, and hardness should be 0. Also flow should be reduced, for example 15%. And now we should just adding the shadow where we need. So using this method you can create realistic clothes. See you in the next video lesson.
In this lesson I want to show how to make effect from the like escaping from the photo. How can do it? Before working, I'm going to fit on screen, press Ctrl 0 from keyboard, and now we should select couple to make it. To remove it from the background, we should remove it from background. Couple to make effect of the escaping from the photo. I'm going to use magnetic lasso tool to do it, or you can use quick selection tool, you can use polygonal lasso tool. Okay, magnetic lasso tool, and just one click, make one click, release the left button and go by edge. This tool is selecting by color, so if you go wrong way, you can delete that point with backspace, and again select with backspace, and sometimes you need click left button. If it's go wrong way, you should need click left button. If there is no problem, you can just go releasing the left button by the edge. Here we should click because it's go to not where we want. Here we should remove this point, backspace, and click left button. Click left button. Also here backspace. Okay, here we should click, it's go not that way, backspace, click, and just select by edge here, no problem. Here we should click wrong way, it's not that way where you need, so we should click also here backspace, so if you need add or subtract, you can use lasso. For example, zooming in. For zooming in, press and hold Alt key and scroll up mouse wheel. Here we should subtract. To subtract, press and hold Alt key and just close this part. Okay. And here we should add. To add, press and hold Shift key and close it like this. Okay. Scroll up, scroll down. Here we can add with Shift key. Okay. Also with Shift key. Also here we should use Alt key to subtract. Okay. Also here. Okay, and now we should copy it with also here. And now we should copy it, press Ctrl C, and also we should expand this selection. Go to select, modify, expand about 7 pixels, okay. And now we should fill with content aware to remove this couple from the image. Shift F5, press Shift F5, and from the options select content aware. From the menu select content aware, okay. Okay, now we can deselect this selection, go to select and deselect, and this shadow we can remove with the patch tool. Here, if normal, you should use content aware, and color you can make 0. And just select these parts and remove, okay. If you make mistake, Alt Ctrl Z, press Alt Ctrl Z. Select it and just remove it, select, also you can move, also this part you can move, okay. And let's zooming in like this, press and hold Alt key and scroll down, and now we should add a canvas to the edge. Press Alt Ctrl C, about 0.7, also 0.7, and canvas color, let's make it not so white, let's make it a little gray, okay, light gray, okay, and okay. And now we should copy it, press Ctrl A, not copy, we should subtract this selection, press Ctrl A, and by subtracting we make it layer. How can do it? Press Shift Ctrl J, okay. Here is the subtraction and here is background. Background color is relationship with this, and now we should transform it. Press Ctrl T and go to this part, Alt Shift, and just move it. Press Alt Shift to by center like this and press Enter. And now we should paste it, that copied man and woman. Press Ctrl V, okay. And also we should add a shadow to layer 1, okay. Select layer 1 and add shadow, drop shadow, for example to center, and size, okay. Also we can add a shadow under the heat. How can do it? Create new layer, press Ctrl Shift N and click OK, and this layer should be under the layer under the man and woman, and with brush tool you can draw it. Hardness should be 0, and on this part, also on this part, okay. So using this method you can make effect of the escaping from the photo. That's all.